I rise to move for a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, to, amongst others, transfer the subject matter of minimum wage prescription from the exclusive legislative list set out under Part 1 of the second schedule to the concurrent legislative list set out under Part 2 of the second schedule and for related matters. For second reading, I urge my colleagues to allow this bill to pass for the second reading. I so move.
The issue of devolution of power is now, and all this leads to curing that request, demand, agitation for devolution of power. And so we should allow it. Mr. Speaker, if you go to where I come from, oil-producing areas, every item on sale there is very, very expensive. Very, very. Sometimes I tell my constituents, how do you pay this rent when you don't have industries here? Government is the only salary-paying agency. There is no other business there that people do to earn money. But because it is an oil-producing state, the rent is very, very exorbitant. Cost of living is very, very high. Prices of goods and services are very, very expensive. But what will the people do? Mr. Speaker, I think that this bill needs to pass for second reading and be transmitted to the Constitutional Committee on Constitutional Amendment. My urge is that at every level, Nigeria needs this bill, and we should all rise to support it.
I believe that in Nigeria, each state should determine how much it wants to pay its civil servant or public servant. Mr. Speaker, I don't believe the governor of Lagos State should earn the same amount as well as the governor of Zamfara, or the governor of Kano State should earn the same as the governor of Yobe, or the local government chairman in a particular area should earn the same. The local government chairman in Surulere, for instance, should earn the same amount or salary as the local government chairman of Gibia. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill with all force.
I think here, if Nasarawa State should come to the federal allocation and collect money, which is not the same with the River State, I think the National Salary and Wages Commission should not determine how much Nasarawa State should pay its workers, because they don't earn the same money. So I think this will liberalize the economies of the states, will also organize them, and will put them in a correct perspective on how they can manage their finances.
Nigerian Labour Congress every state has a chapter. And what that chapter is meant to do is to negotiate and to also cater for the welfare of workers in that particular state. And as such, these state chapters can also negotiate how much each state can be able to pay. Take, for instance, a state that gets less than 3-4 billion amount, and their wage bill is about 4-5 billion. In most instances, workers are owed arrears accumulating to billions of naira that can never be paid. This bill can never be anti-people, it can never be anti-masses. It is meant to create a just and an egalitarian society where it will be free for all to determine how much each worker can be paid.
We have a lot of issues and crises within the country. The economy is going down. So by the time we allowed individual workers to be paid anything below 10,000, for example, I don't think that can even serve to pay the school. The major issues that will be affected is the education of the child, which is very, very vital, because the little that one is saving out of minimum wage to pay for school fees will not be there. I think what we should try as much as possible is to encourage universal applicability of minimum wage, and also suggest to the state government and local government on areas they can diversify in getting more revenues.
That they may end up not paying anything. So we should not lose sight of the people we are dealing with. All of us are involved. we should be able to address our minds. Because the problem we have is even the problem of mindset. We just believe in everything they say. It's true. But you know it's not true. Here, we approve funds. They don't spend it for whatever you approve it for. Yeah. So my position is that we allow this bill to pass the second reading, but we should put a caveat that no state in this country will be allowed to pay less than 30,000 because it's not going to work. 30,000 cannot pay house rent. 30,000 cannot feed a child. 30,000 cannot take care of people who are pregnant and all that. So let the bill pass, but let us not subject our faith to people who will reduce this 30,000 minimum wage.
A fresh graduate at the state level salary is about 40,000, 50,000 naira. At the federal level, a fresh graduate is receiving between 80 and 100,000 naira. So if you cannot balance at the top, why should you balance at the down? If we apply minimum wage, we should take a percentage of the salary of each to apply it at the basis of minimum wage. So I want to support this bill, Mr. Speaker. Let each tier of government determine what it is minimum wage.
Among the objectives of the welfare of our citizens is very important. And I think as far as the economy of this country is concerned, we are not yet there to allow states to go and determine. Some will tell you what is the percentage, which is true, what is the percentage, but then workforce in Nigeria and minimum wage should be allowed as it is in the Constitution based on this particular provision I've quoted to you, sir. It is very important. I want to urge and beg my colleagues to reason with the people out there. Some will use it negatively to say some governors will be mischievous with it. That's the fear of Mr. Deputy Speaker. But in doing it, there will also be a central valve subject to existing labor laws, subject to other things. They will not be given wide liberty to say, because we are poor state, we are going to pay 10,000. No. We'll look for a way, Mr. Deputy Excellency, to put a clause, to put a valve, to see that it is not negatively used. But as to whether states should pay according to their ability, we should allow them.
With the Speaker, I can tell you very vividly, practically, you find some states will even argue that they can only pay 15,000 naira. That would be a very terrible decision to make. Even with the law telling us to pay 30,000, there are governors who came and said, look, I am going to pay beyond 30,000 because they wanted to be elected into office. When they got elected finally, they couldn't even pay the minimum wage. It became a subject of war. So we have to protect the vulnerable. We have to protect the people at the lower. I agree with people who say that the salaries at the federal level is different. I agree. But Mr. Speaker, I must tell you, even in states, you are at liberty to pay, even with the law saying that you should pay minimum of 30,000, you are even at liberty to pay 40,000 if you have the capacity. Nobody is saying you must maintain 30,000. Mr. Speaker, you come from Lagos State. I'm not sure that what is being paid as minimum wage is 30,000 in Lagos because they have the capacity to pay more. If there are states that have the capacity to pay 50,000, let them pay. Nobody will say, we will be clapping for them. But Mr. Speaker, if you allow states to pay on their own, I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, we will come here with another bill urging states to state aside. So I want us to be cautious. Let us be sure that we are going to maintain this. And then finally, Mr. Speaker, when people say at the federal level that these salaries are different, Mr. Speaker, even at the federal level, the salary at the ministry is different from the one in some of the agencies. If you ask some applicants, they will not even take employment in the ministry. They prefer to go to agency because it's even more higher. So let us not say we should argue that it will be the same. This is my observation, Mr. Speaker.